Yay. We are so excited to have two dear friends, both they put it in parentheses, co-founders of two companies, Design Convo and LoomMas, which we're going to give them a chance to talk about both. It is Cary Lopez and Anca Castillo. Welcome to Trailblazers.
Yay!
Thank you for having us.
I'm so excited.
I appreciate the shimmy. So, we will call you out specifically by name so we don't talk over each other. So, Cary, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved in Design Convo, and then maybe a little bit about LoomMas and kind of what the bright world looks like to you.
Well, again, thank you for having us on the podcast. We're so excited to be with you today. So a little bit about myself. I consider myself a pracademic. So I do have my PhD, and I'm not a traditional, I'm not in academia per se, but I love applying research mindsets to the work that we do. And we experiment a lot in working with teams. And, we like to say that every engagement is bespoke. We do have frameworks that we use, but every team is different. And every time you work with a team, the team is different, as you know. So we, with Design Convo, we primarily work on human-centered design and collaboration. And Anca and I founded Design Convo. Are we coming up on, we just passed 2 years. Is that right?
We're somewhere between 2 and 3.
Woohoo!
We're somewhere between 2 and 3. We both left our regular office kind of jobs and embarked on this amazing journey of entrepreneurship, and definitely couldn't have ever thought that life could be this amazing, but could not have done this without my co.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And full disclosure, Cary, you and I have worked with each other off and on in a few different places, as I recall.
Yeah. I mean, let's see. Can I think of the year, Bruce?
Oh, is it that long ago?
We don't need to go there.
Back in May.
Let's not talk about it.
Back when we were working the farm.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute, but yes,
that's right.
I loved every single time.
I love that. Well, he's okay. He's all right. So, Anca, I know Cary kind of told us a little bit about herself and Design Convo. Would you kind of share a little bit about you and your background, and then you can also kind of give us some insight into LoomMas?
Yes. So, hi. Lovely to see you yet again. A little bit of background on me. I don't know where to begin. I was born on a rug in a cold Romanian village, and here I am.
Which is actually true, right? Like, you're not just making fun of that. You were born on a rug in a remote Romanian village.
I love that so much. I love it.
Yes, so I am a first-generation immigrant to the United States, which is always fun to say. Grew up in Alaska, which is always really fun to say, and now in Arizona. And it was in my work history that I bumped into Cary and invited her to coffee. And then I said, "You're going to be my best friend." She didn't know that. And then years later, I said, "Let's quit and start designing the life we want and the work we want and the people we want to work with." And so here we are. And with Design Convo and launching into boutique consulting and trying to get clients and trying to figure out how much to charge for things and navigating the whole system, we found more folks like us while we were doing it, and reaching out to folks and asking for questions and realizing that we are all in a similar boat, swimming in a similar river, asking the same questions, and how much wonderful and easier life would be for those like us, boutique consultants and facilitators and team builders and leadership experts and trainers, and these folks doing it kind of in either solo or in small grouplets. And as we were continuing to do this, we had the spark of an idea for a platform, a marketplace specifically for folks like us, these solo or double or triplepreneurs who are in this industry and don't necessarily have a place for us to be that other folks can find us easily without having to navigate a bunch of give us all of your information, 20% of everything that you make, and your teeth and your firstborn child to make a life. And so we had this crazy idea to create LoomMas, a marketplace specifically just for boutique consultants, facilitators, leadership experts in general. We know that there's this mass exodus that's going to happen recently. It's already started happening, of the silver tsunami folks that will be retiring. And a lot of these folks have a wealth of knowledge and expertise. They're executives, they're CEOs, they're co-CEO, they're presidents, and they may want to stop working, but they don't want to stop working. And so a lot of them are like, I want to stop my 9 to 5, but I still want to consult. I want to share my expertise with others. Those are the types of folks that we want on the platform. And we want it to be easy. We want it to be stress-free. We want it to bring value and build it on an abundance model, which is how we operate both in Design Convo and on LoomMas. This idea that there's enough problems out there for all of us to try to solve, and we can get further together than we can trying to drudge up on our own. So that's LoomMas, and we just launched this month.
Hey,
so we're very excited.
Definitely wanted to make sure that you were able to give a plug. And I want to also comment, you were also, because we all share this, you were a professional performer, which you did not share in your introduction.
I didn't. So from the carpet or the rug in a remote village in Romania to the stage across the world, including New York, I am a former professional dancer for many, many years. And when I started my family, I gave that up because it was just too time consuming and took too much of my life, but have since fallen in the beautiful black hole that is improv.
Yay!
That has transformed my life and now perform with a team regularly in Phoenix and just love it.
Yay.
I love that so much. And I have to say, just level setting, you two are a couple of our absolute all-time favorite people, and you get kind of the vibe and the feel and the work that we want to be out there sharing and helping others to kind of succeed in business, et cetera. And so we love working with you. We love innovating with you and brainstorming, et cetera. And so, all right. So this question is for Cary. So Cary, tell us more about kind of what is Design Convo filling in terms of a need that businesses have right now that is imperative. I know what it is. I want to hear you say
it. So one of the things that we are not taught in school, and it doesn't even really matter what school, elementary school, high school, college, unless you were on a team sport, you likely never really learned about what teamwork is and how it can be amazing if it's done well. And yet then we're shoved into the business world, and 90%, if not more, if not all of our work is based on working in teams. And so it's no wonder that we get a lot of calls or emails or requests for, hey, our team isn't not broken, but it's not as effective. Like there's trust issues. We're just not getting along as well as we could, or we know that so-and-so doesn't like so-and-so. And so none of us get along well. We're all tiptoeing around each other. And this art of collaboration, there is a science behind it as well, but it really is an art form. And we love helping people maximize their relationships, their opportunities for collaboration, and really forming not just high performing teams, but teams where people love to work together, right?
Oh, yes. I love that. I love that so much.
And how are you doing that? Cary, how do you use the human-centered design piece as a part of that? So just kind of wrap that in so we understand how it works.
Yeah. I mean, there's as many frameworks and methods and tools and exercises for helping collaboration in teams as there are consultants doing the work, right? Human-centered approaches are exactly what they sound like, rather than focusing on technical structures or If you think of Lean Six Sigma, where we look at a process and that's our focus, human-centered, whether it's user experience design or team collaboration, it puts the people doing the work at the heart of the work. And so you use a series of exercises, but it's all based on how do we bring forward and surface the best of the people in whatever the context is, this process, this collaboration setting, this design, and let them do their best work together.
Yeah, I love that. And, it makes me think about there are times when I see posts from both of you, especially you, Anca, when you post about kind of you bring the things that are happening in your personal life into how that might impact us in our business and our work life, which I love so much. And what I think is so interesting is there's life lessons in so much of life that I think the two of you are bringing into that human-centered design awareness and that approach. Anca, from your perspective, what would you say is really missing in those teams that you're trying to help? What would be like the cream that's floating to the top that you're hoping to bring to them and help them find in their journey with Design Convo?
So I think this activity that I'm going to kind of give you a glance over answers that question. So one of the things that we realize is that folks just don't share. They just don't share. I don't know where that happened or where in the history of things folks became like, oh, I'm not sharing anything about myself. This is all just business and it's professional and I can't say anything about me. And so what do we as humans do when we don't have information? We make it up. We fill in gaps. We tell ourselves stories about people and then look for things that validate those stories, never conflicting with those stories. So, for example, one of the activities that we do that we came up with from a variety of different things that we put together is called the Guide to Me. And the Guide to Me is essentially a questionnaire in a way that people fill out about themselves, and then they have to share with others and see what emerges. So, for example, we have a line of spectrums from I'm an early bird to I'm a night owl. I'm a slow processor or I'm a fast processor. I need time to, or I externally process versus internally process. I'm more of an ideator and I'm more of an executor. Well, those behaviors show up every single day. And as do the questions, these are my superpowers. These are areas that I have a weakness in. Here's what I need from others in order to be my best when I'm a collaborator. Here's, those kinds of questions. And just doing that simple activity of like, wow, I have to answer these things about me. I've never even thought about these things about me. Now I'm answering them and sharing them with folks and realizing, wow, I do show up like that. That just simple activity in and of itself is a breakthrough. So for example, Cary and I working together every single day, we're collaborating. She's an external processor. I'm an internal processor. So we're on a call and she is just talking through things. And I am still and quiet as a mouse to the point where she's like, are you there or are you frozen? And I'm like, no, I'm here. I'm just processing. Well, we see that show up in meetings all the time where there's an external processor that's just going, who folks might think is bulldozing, but they're just processing, and folks that are just being quiet and not saying anything because they're taking time and they're internally processing. Well, how does that show up in collaboration? What do you do with that to give folks that internal, slower processors time to process and speak up, and give folks that are external processors the chance to just word vomit as they make sense of everything and have it be a positive experience? Well, the first step of that is being aware that that happens. So for now, we are aware. And so we will, what we say, cue call it. And this is something that you see in improv all the time where people say the thing that's happening. And as an audience member, you love when people call out the thing that's happening. Well, we encourage people to do the same thing once they're aware. So Cary will say, okay, I'm going to externally process right now. Just give me like 5 minutes, and she'll just go. And she'll give me time because I'm just sitting there quiet. She's like, I'm going to give you time to think about it and then let me know when you're ready. And I'll sit there with myself, think about it, and then speak when I'm ready. So it's enough self-awareness, but then also the prompt to share these things about yourself and how you show up that are critical to even just the beginning steps of collaboration. But most folks don't do that. They just start in with the work. Here's the project, here's the initiative, here's the problem, let's get to work. Forgetting that we're humans and we show up differently and we have different needs and we have different backgrounds and different perspectives and different verbal, nonverbal cues that we look for. And just by putting things out there in a safe, just very like, here's more about me. This is how I show up. What about you? How do you show up? So now we know, can make things so much better.
I love that so much. In fact, just kind of going back to what you said about how we don't share. We're, even the sharers like me, there's a lot less sharing than there used to be. And it's so difficult to separate yourself. I think work-life balance is a misnomer. Like there is no work-life balance. You are either focused on work or you are focused on your personal life. And you cannot separate the humanity of yourself from your personal life and your work life. At least I hope you aren't trying to do, because to your point, I don't have those inputs and that information. So how can I be collaborative with you? How can I be successful in collaborating with you if I am missing data and I am missing information that would make me show up better for you and also help me understand how you're showing up for me? So I just love that. I think that's so great.
Well, and I just side note, you guys describe us very well.
Very much the same.
As Cary and Gail process externally, and Anca and I don't. I process on a whiteboard. So I will take all of those things and then I will commonly tell Gail, like, look, I just need to go draw.
I need to go draw.
I just need to go draw. and spending a half an hour drawing boxes on a whiteboard really helps me kind of, this is what I'm trying to say. It's not on the same timeline often that Gail wants to hear it, so we have to be careful, when we do it, because she wants a response right then, and I'm like, can I go draw, please? And then I'll tell you.
Yeah, and yes, and I think the really cool thing about that is the way he processes helps me process as well. So it's not like it's just completely independent of one another.
You are processing only because of now.
My Lanta. So another question, working so closely together and being, good friends, and you've already identified something that's very different about the two of you. How do you keep each other motivated and inspired and, take the time that you need to bring your humanity into the jobs that you do every day? Cary, why don't you kick us off on that?
This morning is actually a perfect example of what this looks like. So I think first off, we have been very explicit. So we've gone through these exercises with each other. So I am an early bird. I love getting up early. My brain functions best in the morning. Anca is a night owl. Like, I have turned into a pumpkin long before her optimum work hours have begun, right? And so we know this about each other, and we use it to like throw the ball essentially to each other. So I know if there's a proposal coming up or a big project that's due, Anca will likely be burning the midnight oil and then flipping it over to me when she reaches a point of like doneness, and I'll pick it back up first thing in the morning. And we very much recognize and value that we have a whole lot of life happening outside of work. And just like this morning, I don't know what my problem was, but I had zero motivation to do anything except lie in bed and watch some Harry Potter. Like, I don't know what was happening. And I was even texting with her and I was like, I got nothing. Like, this morning is just not happening. And I could even read the text string to you, but she essentially said, design the life we want. This is what we're doing. This is why we're here. Take the morning. No pressure, no guilt, no, just do what you need to do. And that is who we are and what we do for each other. And so we are beautifully complementary. All of the weaknesses I have, Anca excels and thrives in. And it's a beautiful partnership.
I love
That's
that.
Great. Anca, what about on your end? Do you have anything, either response to that or just continuing on with what Gail asked?
I would add that I think we've experienced so much of what we don't want that we're hyper-focused on what we do want and how we want it. So even this idea of co-founders and co-everything, and people will show up in a meeting and they're like, oh, we got both of you. And I'm like, we're a package deal. Like we hardly ever separate because it's not the design of the life we want. We want to be able to collaborate, but we also know that if one of us needs a day to just bake and watch Harry Potter, we're not sitting there doing it with the guilt of like, oh, but work's not being done, but no one's checking the emails, but things are not happening, because the other person's like, I'm feeling productive, so I'm going to keep going at stuff. And then when you're feeling it, we'll just pick up and switch. Or if one of us is sick, we know everything's being taken care of because we have this beautiful partnership and we're not coming back to a million bajillion emails, and just the stress of that cognitive thought impacting us, I think is so beautiful. And we've said that's what we want. We want that. And we think, we've discussed how we believe more leadership roles should have that co-model from a perspective of mental health, of work-life balance, of overall human health. It's not even just mental health, but like physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, just roundness of health, to not be in a point where everything is on you and God forbid you make a mistake or you're out or you want a vacation and things just fall apart. But having someone there to just do everything with is beautiful.
Yeah, I think other things I've kind of seen from the two of you that I really love seeing is that you love to play together too. And that's a way for you to release energy, reset, renew, just something like, let's make a craft, or let's bake bread together, or let's do this fun adventure, whatever it is. And I just think that's so great. We're married, so it's kind of built into that, right? That we're going to be spending time together. And we very much represent and resemble what you just said. Same thing. The life we want is, we want to be able to golf one day and then the next day double down and work longer hours, or work through the weekend so we can play during the week and on something we want to do. So we love that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the challenge is when both of us just want to watch Harry Potter. Right?
There's that.
All right, I guess it's what we're doing.
Which we do sometimes.
That happens sometimes.
Those days.
Yes, exactly.
Exactly.
All right, so here's a more difficult question. I'll go with you, Anca, on this one to start with. Is tell us about a time that you made a big mistake and what you learned and how you got out of it. Kind of what happened and
how you moved through it.
How'd you move through it? And it doesn't have to be with Design Convo. It can be anything.
Anytime.
Okay, so I'm going to start that by saying I don't think I've ever made any big mistakes. I make lots of tiny mistakes continuously because I really love to fail. So I've never gotten to anything big because I've always like mini failed before going to a giant explosion and course corrected before getting there. But one of my traits, Cary knows this, is that I can be very pushy when advocating for people and their happiness and pushing them to like do the thing that they want to do, but they're a little bit scared to do. And I'm like, do it. So this one time we were on a phone call with a colleague that called us to vent about a situation that was happening in their life or in their work life that was just really hard. And so they literally were like, can I vent to you? Can I talk to you about this? Because you're external to this. You don't know anything. You're my friend. You can give us advice. So we were sitting and talking, and my natural tendency, I'm like, problem solve. We got, like, I can see a way out. I can help. Like, I got connections. Maybe if you talk to this person, maybe if you do this, maybe if you do this. And I got so excited at the idea of helping them that I jumped the gun and reached out to someone else after the call to connect them because they're a really good mentor that could help them explore different options. And then they reached back out there and they're like, no, I didn't want you to do that. I wasn't ready. Why would you do that? And I just felt so horrible. Yeah. And so I was like, dang it, I jumped the gun again. Versus going through the channel of like, hey, do you want me to reach out to this person and connect you with this person? I just did it because I'm like, boom, I see it. It's happening. Like momentum. I love momentum. And sometimes I'm a little too forward in my momentum. And so I had to course correct that. And I felt horrible about it. But everything worked out at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And that, we teach an empathy course, and one of the things we talk about is empathy habits. And my empathy habit is I compare myself to you, and then I one up you. You didn't sleep well last night. Well, I didn't. Oh my gosh, I didn't either. In fact, I was up at 2 and I didn't want to get Bruce up. So I just lay there in bed, started thinking about things, and suddenly it's about me. Another one is, advising, educating, all of those things. We do it from this place of, wanting to help and care. Yeah. And meanwhile, sometimes people just want to vent, and so to be able to say, how can I support you here? And like, no, nothing. I just wanted to be able to have someone to share this with. It's like, okay, great. And I'm a lot like that too, Anca. I just I'm ready to make something happen for you or go. So I can relate to that for sure.
And you, Cary?
And you'd think, since I was just listening, I would have had all this time to come up with an answer. So not necessarily a mistake, but a chip on my shoulder, maybe, that I let sometimes drive my behaviors. When I first started in my PhD program, I was abnormal for many reasons. I didn't go straight from undergrad to master's to PhD. I wasn't seeking to be a faculty member. I found out I was pregnant on the same day I got admitted to my program. So I had 2 children by the time I was in this program, right? So I was not the normal student. And
you were unique. I prefer unique over abnormal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I also was adamant that the viewpoints of practitioners, the perspectives that we have from being out in the world of work, are just as powerful and informational as those of the research world, right? And so I was going to prove, come hell or high water, that practice-based knowledge is as important as research-backed academia kind of knowledge. And so that chip has just kind of sat there throughout my whole program. And when I got through with my dissertation and things, I was excited to start submitting my dissertation for various awards I was going to make a stand for the practitioner community, and we were going to this was going to be awesome, right? I got no awards. And not only did I not get any of the awards, but every paper I have since submitted has been rejected for conferences and publication. And that has been a very bitter pill to swallow, right? And it's been a lot of soul searching and kind of working with my advisors and things, and recognizing that pressure exists only here. Right. The only thing driving me to do that was because I felt a need to prove something that nobody else is really looking to have proven. Yeah. Right.
Not a lot of people are interested as you would like them to be. Right. Yeah.
And I'm also, and Anca knows this, I can be like a dog with a bone. So the more rejection I get, the more motivation I have to continue to try to prove people wrong, which again, it's a character flaw. I get this.
Yeah. Or it's a character opportunity. That's what I would say.
Yes.
Thank you. So
I love that. Well, thank you
not letting it get me down.
Yeah, no, I love that.
Really, it's a failure, and it's been it feels like a failure. I'm taking it as a learning opportunity, but there are plenty of so it's not necessarily a mistake, but I let myself be blinded a little bit by wanting something so badly,
Yes.
And meanwhile, I'm over here thinking to myself, who are the people deciding whether you're getting published? Are they researchers and they're just anti-practical experience? I'm over here thinking those kinds of things.
Oh, I'm like,
words. Oh no, you need to publish.
I've got words.
And you need. Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to do a quick rapid fire with the two of you before Bruce asks the last question, and I'll just ask the question and I'll go Anca and then Cary and then back and forth. Okay. Favorite food, Anca?
Bread.
Cary?
Tacos.
Favorite animal, Anca?
My children.
Love it. Cary?
A humpback whale.
Oh, love that. Okay. Favorite type of music, Anca?
I don't have one. It's really hard for a dancer to ask that question because it's just whatever music makes me feel like there's something to say.
Got it. Cary?
I kind of want to say ditto, but right now I am on a Gaelic music kick.
Love it. Final question. Final question in this speed round. Favorite place you've ever visited, Anca?
Italy, but in my dreams and one day a reality.
Okay, right on. Cary?
That's a hard one. Scotland is definitely a top pick.
Love it.
Great.
Thank you for being part of my fast, rapid fire
Rapid Gale questioning.
Round.
Rapid Gale.
Our DQ.
Final question.
So, all right. So for each of you, we would love to know what has been the best piece of advice you have been given. Not that you want to give to other people. Best piece of advice that you've been given and why were you given it? So Anca, we'll start with you.
It's a hard one for me because I don't normally get advice. I typically give advice being the oldest child in the family. But I have this motto that came early. I don't know where it came from early in my life. And it's one of my kind of theory of controls foundational things is that you only have so much time. So do the most with it. It is a big driver of my behavior.
I love that.
Yeah, that makes you fearless, right? So that allows you to go take risks.
Yeah.
Like improv.
Yes.
Love it.
Excellent. Karen?
So I was handed a book by Maria Shriver when I was 16. And the book essentially says that you can be all things. You can be the amazing mother. You can be the best daughter. You can be an amazing boss and employee. And you can be all the things, but you can't be all the things all at once. And if you try, that is a recipe for burnout. Now, again, going back to one of my theories of control, my response to that was, oh yeah? Watch out. And then I did burn out. But I still, it was a wonderful piece of advice and I probably should have taken it.
Well, that is fantastic.
You guys are amazing.
Yes, Cary Lopez, Anca Castillo, co-founders of LoomMas and Design Convo. Thank you so much for being on Trailblazers. We're really, really thrilled to have been able to chat with you for a little while.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Bye.